G'day divers and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to go through the Submariner range of dive lights by LetonPower. So LetonPower have sent me these lights, full disclosure, but they haven't sponsored me. They're not paying me. I'm not showing them this video first, and I'm not going to sell my soul over, $200 worth of lights. What I thought was interesting when they sent it to me was I actually had trouble on the internet really telling the difference between the three lights. I mean, if you just look at them as photographs individually, they look fairly similar. The stats are fairly similar. So I thought, if I make a video that shows you what the differences are between the three lights, and then sort of recommend who I think or what sort of dive for each one of these lights. But at the end of the day, that I think is about $100. That one at the moment's like 35, 36 US dollars. They are so cheap, they worked. I've taken these diving, so I don't ever make a video unless I've gone and used them. I'll show you footage of, well, actually my buddy using them because I'm the one doing the filming. He's the one holding the light. There is some footage where I've done both, where it's on my hand and I'm using the Ace Pro 2. Some filmed, he's got the light and I'm filming it with the Google Pixel. So some of it's with 9, some of it's with 10. I have had actually these for a while, for the simple reason that I won't just make a review video because it turned up in a box. I want to take it out. I want to make sure that the one I got works. It works as described. Otherwise, I'm not going to make a video about it. So these worked as described. So I'm going to make a video about it. I'm going to tell you the good. I'm going to tell you the bad. And I'll tell you which one out of the three I personally recommend. So let's first talk about the 14S. This is the smallest of all the three lights. It is advertised as 2000 lumens for up to 90 minutes on full power, and it takes one 18650 battery. Comes with the 18650 battery. The really nice thing I liked is the fact that it's built like a rechargeable torch. So you can take the plug out and it charges straight from the USB-C cable that they give you. And you'll see the light on the front will be flashing red as it's charged. And when it's fully charged, it'll be green. So you can use it just like a rechargeable torch. Or if you want to change the battery in it, you just take the back off and you can take the 18650 straight out of it and replace that 18650 with any 18650 battery. So you've got the best of both worlds. Because I'd find, look, I tested this. I'm happy that it lasts an hour. I wouldn't say it lasts 90 minutes. It sort of stayed on for 90 minutes, but as far as the usable time with this battery was about an hour, which will be fine for most people. But if you want this light to last for 2 hours or maybe even a bit more, you can go out and get a Panasonic and put it in here. If you get you can't expect to buy a $35, $36 torch and get a $10 battery. But by having it be able to swap it means you have that choice. To put it in context, it's like going to the supermarket and you've got AA batteries. You can buy the cheap generic AA, or you can go and spend 10 times as much money on the top of the range AA battery that's going to last maybe twice as long. It's not going to last 10 times as long, might last twice as long, but it's going to cost you 10 times as much. Now if you're buying a $35 light, you're not going to get a $10 battery, but you could choose to put the $10 battery in there. I probably wouldn't, because I would recommend this light for recreational diving. I wouldn't necessarily recommend it for any tech diving. And the main reason being is there's no lock on the button. That's really my main reason. And the runtime. Like, even with a Panasonic, 2 hours is pushing what I'd probably want in my backup torch. I want that comfortably when I'm a long way into a cave, but it's got no lock on the button. So I would use this recreationally, no problem. It takes quite a bit of a press on the button to set it off. So I'd quite happily have this as a backup in my BCD for a recreational night dive. I'd use this quite comfortably as my primary night diving torch. I'm going to start with, it's 4 to 4.5 times brighter than, a Princeton Tech 420, which was actually quite bright for a standard dive light. So it's got more than enough brightness to it. You've got 4 settings of power on it. You've got 2 flashing settings. Easy to use, easy to charge. It is small. It's under 200 grams with the battery. It comes with a wrist strap so you can mount it on your wrist if you like. It's very easy. I'm going to give this to my son probably as his backup night dive torch. It's very small, can go in his BCD pocket. But the only reason I wouldn't use this as a backup for tech diving is purely because if you hit that button, it's going to switch the light on. Not the end of the world on a recreational dive. Your buddies are probably going to see it and you'll switch it off anyway, but I don't want to find at the 1K mark on a cave dive that my backup is flat. So, you're doing tech diving, you're not worrying about $35 batteries. It also comes, both this and the 16 come in this nice little case, which is pretty amazing for, 35, 40 bucks, that you get a nice little travel case with both of them. Comes with the charging cable, a lanyard, some silicone. Next, we've got the 16. Now, this is actually my favorite. And the reason I'd say this is it's still small. It's not a lot bigger, but it's just got a little bit more girth to it. It's still 2000 lumens. But the reason I really like this one is it comes with a 21700 battery. And it does the same thing. So you can use this as a rechargeable torch. You can actually take off the battery compartment. It stays whole. And that charges as a USB-C. It has a little light that glows red and then goes green when it's fully charged. So again, you can use this as a rechargeable torch. Or if you want to, it just has the standard 21700 in it, which you can replace. So you just take the back cap off, and if you want to replace it with the 21700 lithiums, you can just replace it. And again, up to you. This one's advertised as lasting up to 3 hours. I did a 2-hour cave dive with it, no problem. I put it in the sink. Again, I was happy with it up to 2 hours. I think 3 hours is probably stretching it with this battery. But if you want to go out and get a Samsung, a real genuine Samsung, and shove it in here, you will definitely get your 3 hours. So that's the first reason why I'd say this will actually be used as a backup torch for some of my tech diving. Certainly for my recreational diving. I'd actually quite comfortably use this as my primary recreational night diving torch. 2000 lumens are like this. It's not too bad. It wasn't actually too bad on a cave dive, especially for the time that it lasts. But if you're tech diving, you're probably going to go for something more serious. But as a backup on a tech dive, this is actually fine. The next reason being is it has a magnetic sliding switch that is lockable. So I can actually lock it so I can't switch the light on, then unlock it, and it just slides forward, and you've just got that variable light. So I really like this, really like a magnetic switch, and I really like when you've just got that variable from low to high. The reason being, it's also only got the tiny little indicator light. I like that as well. So if I'm doing a long cave dive, I find these big indicator lights very annoying. Indicator lights, they're so unreliable anyway. And then having this thing glowing, that to me on a tech dive will annoy me. So, on a recreational dive, not so bad. But this one only has the tiny little indicator light, enough so you can just see it, but it's not glowing in the dark on you. The next thing is, all the Chinese manufacturers, I guess they all think they want to add features. This has 4 levels of power. It has slow flashing. It has fast flashing. They're pointless. I really want, on a dive torch, not on a video light, on a dive torch, I want full power, half power, that's it. The problem with having all these extra buttons is if I go from full power back to the next power setting down, if I want to go back to full power, I've now got to go through all those settings. And what's worse is they go and stick, that flashing SOS sort of I need assistance in there to make it look great in their documentation. But I've now got to go through those flashing lights to get back to full power. So inevitably I go through, it gets to flashing, and my buddies all turn around wondering what the problem is. And I don't really need flashing because I can make the torch flash if I've got a problem. So I really like the fact that this just has that variable up to full power. I don't have any flashing, I don't have any nonsense, I don't have red lights, I don't have blue lights, I just have white power where I slide that forward and decide what power I want, and then when it's where I want it, I just press the lock and it's locked in place and it's not moving anywhere. So at 2000 lumens again, and the extra time, if I put a real Samsung in this, I would comfortably say it will last the 3 hours with the 21700. So time wise, it's fine. It's a lockable switch, so I'm comfortable. It's not going to, go on in my pocket. It's still a good size. This I will definitely use as my backup torch, and I will use it as a recreational night diving torch. No problem at all. I'll mount that on my wrist. Happy days. And finally, we have the big brother, the 26S. Now, this is a substantial torch. Probably not the sort of thing I would overly use. I'll probably give it to my son for a night diving torch. It is big. And the one thing I do like about it is if I give it to him and he drops it, I'm going to find that easily. It really is probably for your local diver who wants to have a torch that you can put down on the boat in the dark, or you put down on the bottom and you're going to find it again. That is the problem with small torches. If you're hunting crayfish or abalone, or you're a hunter of some description, this probably is a good idea where you can, you're not going to lose it easily, whereas putting down this in the kelp, you're going to lose it really quickly. I can see the point to that. It's an inbuilt battery. It's two 26650s apparently in here. It does say it lasts 6 hours on high. I tested it. I got to 5 hours and got bored. It was still going. And I was going to bed, so I switched it off. So I can guarantee it probably makes 6 hours. It certainly made 5, which is more than enough. You don't need that anyway. It's rechargeable. It recharges in the cap. Now, that's nice, but it is very heavy is the only problem. Traveling, putting this on your wrist, not an option. Putting it in your BCD pocket, not an option. Traveling with it, not an option. Like, it's nearly 0.5 kilogram, and because it has a lithium battery in it, it's got to go into your carry-on. This one is 180 grams with the battery in it, and of course, because you can remove the battery, you put the battery in your carry-on, and you can put the whole torch into your checked luggage. I would travel with that. You're not going to waste 0.5 kilo of your checked luggage on a torch that's, what are you going to do? Belt great whites to death with. It's bright. It's 40% brighter than these. I wouldn't say it's 2.5 times brighter like they advertise. I checked it. It was about 40% brighter than one of these. So I'd say it's about 3,000 lumens. It's a nice torch. Like I said, if you're night diving a lot at home and you want a big torch that you can put around the dive boat or put on the bottom and you're going to find it again, definitely this torch is going to do it. It's going to last heaps long enough for you to use. But from a point of view of being able to store it anywhere else or take it traveling, it's just too big. And again, you're going back to that button style thing where you're going to go high, medium, low, flashing, fast flashing, and back again, which does my head in. I'll be honest, this torch I would recommend every day of the week. The 16 is definitely my favorite. I love 21s. If you've been watching my channel for a while, you'll know that 21700 batteries are my favorite. I think for their size and power, they are much better than 18650s. And I just think this is a nice size. It's not too small. It's not too big. And I really like a magnetic sliding switch with a lock. And I'm not stuffing around going through flashing modes and all those modes that I don't want. I'm just switching my light on, locking it so it doesn't come on, or locking it off so I can stick it in my pocket. Happy days. So, like I said, I'd recommend this one for recreational divers if you want to save some money. And as your backup torch on your night dive, I would recommend this as a backup for tech diving, or a primary torch for recreational night diving, or a backup. You'd probably have one of them and one of them. And this torch, well, look, if you're diving locally and you're hunting, maybe you're hunting crayfish or abalone, doing night dives where you're happy that if you put this torch down, it's got some substance, so you're going to be able to find it, then great. Otherwise, I'd be going back to the 16 every day of the week. But I hope that gives you a bit of an idea of the difference between the three, because I really couldn't tell on the internet. That was a lot bigger than I expected and heavier. It's a nicely built torch, but I just think, it's just too big for most people. And I really, really like the magnetic lockable switch on the 16. And 2 to 3 hours of runtime is heaps, especially when I can just take the battery out, replace it with another one, and get another 2 to 3 hours of runtime on the same day. And I can keep doing that over and over again. I don't have to go and charge it and wait for it. It's the reason I like being able to change batteries is, what if I forget to charge this? As long as I've got a spare 21700 in my bag, I get to the dive site and realize I've got a flat battery. I swap the battery, happy days. This is switched on and it's flat. It is a brick until it gets recharged. So again, that would be my choice. I will probably be giving that to my son in his backup. That is his primary torch, so when he drops it, I can find it easily. This will be going as a primary night diving torch for me and a backup torch for when I go cave diving. So I hope you got some value out of that video and it helps explain what the differences are between the torches in case you're interested in one of them. They are great value for money. That's what I'll say. You're not going to get a $500 torch for $35, but it is a perfectly good torch and way better than nearly my entire career of diving for a night diving torch. The days of using really crappy plastic torches that never work are well and truly over. Probably 2015, I can guarantee you that if you got through a night dive without needing to use your backup or both your backups and your buddy's backup, you were having a good night dive. They were just terrible torches and they cost hundreds of dollars. Now, $35 and reliable, and 4 times, or sometimes in the case 10 times brighter. It's amazing. It's amazing what the Chinese have done for underwater torches. So if you'd like to pick up one, there will be an affiliate link in the description. It will give you 10% off and it will help support this channel. So please consider using that link. And until next time, don't forget to keep blowing bubbles. And remember, the deeper you go, the further you get away from all those idiots.